this meeting underway. This is the 44th meeting of the GMMA. I'd like to thank Vallourec for hosting this. Very nice. Appreciate it. Provided lunch as well. At this time, we can go around the room and get introductions. Everybody can stand up, say their name and company. I'll start. I'm Eric Elgin from Oklahoma Interpack.
Brad Frank, Tulsa Tube Bending Company.
Lee Buttress, Acme Engineering.
Julie Brummett, Acme Engineering.
Matt White with Yachty. Jim Eaton with Oklahoma. Technical, Acme Engineering.
What's Marshall, Vallourec. William Whitfield, Vallourec.
Lisa Smith, Lake Erie United Way.
Judy Malone, Soho Manufacturing Line.
Kathy Adair, Indian Capital Technology Center.
Dan Morris, Advantage Controls.
He calls Burroughs Coast Range.
Mark Stover, Burroughs Close Friend.
Chad Lish, Burroughs Close Friend. Aaron Cheatham, Burroughs Close Friend.
Spencer, Center Tech.
Kevin Ishmael, Center Tech.
First Center Tech. Jerry Pinnock, Global Machine. Jerry Hooper, Indian Capital.
Marie Sinar, Port of Muskogee. Carrie Keene, Port of Muskogee.
Bob Elder, Vallourec.
Terry Farley, Vallourec.
Eric Mossberry. Mike Lyle, Vallourec. Ken Duff, Muskogee County.
Jason Spice, Vallourec.
Tyler Keys, Vallourec. Paul Laird, Vallourec.
And Dexter, Vallourec.
Tim Pine, Vallourec.
Kendall Bullard, Vallourec.
Eric Miller, Port of Muskogee Industrial Development Office.
Okay, at this time, everybody should have a packet on their tables. The minutes from the last meeting are contained inside. We could consider a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Lee.
Second? Second. Okay. Minutes are approved. At this time, I would like to introduce Mike Wild, who's going to give us a little update on Vallourec.
Thank you again, Tom. I appreciate it. Welcome to Vallourec. We're glad you're here, and we're excited to get the tour today. If we would have done this a year ago, things would have been a lot different. It would have been a very boring tour. A lot of idle equipment. We would have seen empty buildings with the lights turned off. In 2014, we had a record year. It was an amazing year. We had record sales, record revenue. 2015, our sales dropped by 60%, and our revenue dropped by 75%. And most of that business was done in the first quarter of the year because it's overflow or backlog from 2014. To start this year, our projected forecast was only 14% of the volume that we did in 2014. 14%, we can almost do that in a month. It's a scary place to be. Fortunately, we've already exceeded those numbers. Our headcount in the plant has increased by 16% from the low last year, and we are booked full for the rest of the year. So it's a good place to be for us right now. But our customers are very demanding. A lot of that changed. The report came out last year that showed the break-even price when they drill a new well. Saudi Arabia, to drill a well, can be profitable at $21 a barrel. The United States is at $60 a barrel. It's a big difference. Our customers had to figure out how to make a profit with cheap oil prices, and they had. Kind of the magic number now is $50 a barrel. We have customers actually that can be profitable at $40 to $45 a barrel. But they put the squeeze on us to get there. So, the lead times are a big deal. They want the pipe and they want it now. So if we can't supply it, then our competitors are scheming. That's where we're at. We're excited about the guest speaker and the lean journey. As our customers are going through that, we go through it, and we can't stay competitive. So, welcome to Vallourec. Enjoy yourself. restrooms back there, and hope to stick around for the tour. Thanks.
Okay, at this time, I would like to introduce Judy McCombs, who is going to introduce our guest speaker today.
That's true. Hi, I'm excited today to get to introduce our speaker, Brad Frank. I met Brad 4 years ago at a Florida National Manufacturing Conference. It was one of my first events to attend as an MEA. And I was so impressed at that time, I thought, wouldn't it be great if we have those kind of speakers come to GMMA in our area? So it's kind of come full circle today for me. Marie and I started recruiting Brad about 5 months ago. See if he could work us in his schedule. We had to meet certain criteria, tell him how great you all are and how interested you are in lean and that you're committed. Because he's very selective. He used to do 400 events a year and tours. He now only does 40. So we feel very elite today, and that's why we invited the very top level management of your companies. That was his choice, because he's going to explain why that's so critical in lean implementation. Just a little bit about Brad Frank, president of Tulsa Tube Bending. His company is recognized national industry leader. A little bit about his education. He is an engineer, but he does have a personality. He has a bachelor's degree in systems engineering and an MBA from the University of Tulsa. He has published numerous trade articles and is even quoted in the Wall Street Journal. Brad has spoken on a variety of business topics to many industry groups, including the National Steel Conference, the Young Presidents Organization of National Lean Conference, and the Global Toyota Kata Summit. His company's lean process improvement implementation is considered to be one of the best in the region, and I would say in the nation. This effort has generated thousands of process improvements, resulting in a 130% increase in productivity. The company has received numerous awards, including the Tulsa Metro Chamber Family-Owned Business of the Year, the Governor's Oklahoma Manufacturing Excellence Award, the Governor's Oklahoma Manufacturing Advocacy Award twice, voted a best place to work in Oklahoma. I know many of you, I know Advantage Controls has won that, and all of you are working toward that. Named the United States Chamber of Commerce Small Business of the Year. And something I find interesting, if you ever get an email from Brad, at the bottom of this email it says, serving others, building people, pursuing excellence. With that, let me introduce Brad Frank.
Thank you. We appreciate that very much. So I want to be respectful of your time. Let's just check. When should we finish with all of everything that we're doing?
Free Marie, she's got her mouth full.
3:30, 4,
You've got until 12:55.
45, 55?
12:55.
Okay.
And that includes questions.
Yeah. Super. So I seriously am thrilled to get a chance to speak with you. And we say not speak to you, to speak with you. All these tours that we've given, as an example, I hope that we've helped others. That was really part of our mission that Judy talked about. That's really part of what we're trying to do. But we've learned so much from the collective, so much from us. And one of the things I've learned is no matter what kind of company we are, in many cases we're all struggling with 2 or 3 of the same issues. And that's really been an education for us. It folds right into lean manufacturing and how Toyota addresses some of those things, and they're true obstacles. So I want to tell you a couple of stories today, really. A little bit of a story about us, but it's not about our company. I'm not trying to sell you crooked pipe or anything like that. However, Christmas is coming up. But really, a bit of a story of what we know about Toyota, and then really stories about the companies that have come through our company and what we've learned from that. Okay? So, just like any other host, what I want to do first is start with a quiz. And it's not something that you're going to hand in, but in your handout, first page is just for notes, if you will. If you care to take notes at all. Second page, you'll flip that over. Really, a minute or two, if you will, on the left side of that vertical line. Just jot down some notes, your answers that mean something to you to those 4 questions. Okay? So it doesn't need to be legible terribly. We're not going to hand it in just for yourself. If you'll just take a minute or two here and answer those questions kind of quickly. We'll be talking about those today. Is that the Schwartz-Stein truffle? And that's not University of Oklahoma. Can't talk about it with you. They're close to professional, but they're not quite professional. Okay, we got to wrap it up here. Like I said, it's just meant to be kind of a thought starter. Okay, so let me show a few slides about our company, just really for context and nothing else. We do just what the name implies, bent pipe and tubing for industrial applications. We sell to all 50 states, quite literally we sell to Alaska and Hawaii every once in a while, and a number of countries in this part of the world. I'm not going to go down through this. One of the things that's helped with us, though, is improved productivity. We've held our employment count constant, very close to constant over the last 10 or 12 years. Yet just 130% improved productivity allows us, where in the old days with 50 people we shipped 100 widgets a day, now we ship 230 widgets a day. And I don't say some of these things to be braggadocious, I say it to try to just kind of get your attention about, think about how that changes the company and how that changes people's lives that work in that company. It's really, really dramatic what can happen here. We're certainly very energy based as well. Our business has dropped about 40% over the last 14 months. Like that, I'll tell you a little bit of how we cope with that. So some of the pictures of our stuff in service, of course, energy, pipeline, the road signs that you see, we helped develop that market years ago. Anytime you see a curved surface in a building, it's either beam or channel or we hope tubing or like that. Here's something that one of the few things you actually see some of our products. We produce more of the goosenecks, the vent tubing for the NFL and NCAA than any other vendor in the country. So we're accused of being the company that slips those kids $20 bills and say, hey, go tear down that goalpost. We're not that company. We're accused of that. Other things. New York, and Las Vegas, we've done all of the vent tubing for that roller coaster, structural items. We do most of our business with very, very small companies. Most of our customers are smaller even than we are, but we also do business with some very, very large companies. Okay? Our continuous improvement, we say, we don't use the word lean as much in our shop anymore as we use TPS. Really trying to kind of look at that, the lean, TPS, you'll hear me say both of those. We've been actively practicing, attempting to practice and learn that for 15 years. We do coach some companies. We have given tours to over 450 companies. And I'll tell you in a minute why we've used, as Judy said, we've used a filter now to say before we'll give a tour And unfortunately, that filter, I'll tell you in a minute, has really dropped that down to a very, very small number because of that. And Bank of Oklahoma has been one of the. Okay, so how about starting with some basics? Why in the world do we care? Why do we even care about how Toyota manages its company? Why don't we study the Ford production system or the GM production system or, you know, who knows, right? So I'm kind of a nerd about this stuff, or a little bit of the show me. We've done, why do I want to spend all this money? And so in doing my homework about Toyota, they're an incredibly different company than any of their competitors. And it has nothing to do with their cars. I don't own a Lexus, don't own a Toyota, but it's just how they run their business, okay? So I want to show you a couple of graphs. This has the year 1967 to 2015 here, and the y-axis percentage of market share. And so Toyota has only really been in the car business half the time that the majors have been in the car business. They really didn't start importing cars in the United States until the mid-60s. I'm going to remember just barely, but General Motors was the Goliath. They were the key corporation, practically, state-of-the-art corporation on the planet at that time. Okay? So you can see in blue, market share in the early 60s, they sold almost 50% of all cars sold in America, 2 out of every 4. Okay? You can see something happened to that market share. Ford, by comparison, very strong, sold almost 25%, only 1 out of 4. Okay? At this time, Toyota is a little bitty plant in Toyota City, Japan. A few thousand employees compared to this. They had no footprint in the United States in 1967 to speak of at all. Yet, what's happened to their market share? Now, we like to do like straight line modeling, and if you do straight line modeling on that, that's dramatic. That's dramatic. I want to know what's happening here. What's different about this company, Toyota? They had every disadvantage to overcome, every obstacle to overcome. Yet look at what they've done, right? Why? Okay, so another way, the real true measure of a company in many ways is their market cap, right? The number of outstanding shares times share price, right? What do outside interests say your company is worth? Okay? Same thing, GM, Ford, Toyota. I'm going to do 94 through 2015. The y-axis is in billions. General Motors, Vallourec, around 40 to 20 billion. What happened right here? Anybody remember? Yeah, the Vallourec. So really, and I drive the GM stuff, it should be down here, should, right? But that's GM's value. Ford. Anybody have any idea what happened to Ford about here that may have given rise to this improvement? Anybody know? Anybody have an idea?
Selling all their, they own every part of the vehicle. They start selling all the glass plants, all their parts.
They started focusing, didn't they? They started focusing, and there was even a reason behind that. Anybody, because you hear that, started selling things off and focus on our core strengths. Alan Malone, okay, your new CEO, president, came in from Boeing. He is a tremendous Toyota production system disciple. Tremendous Toyota production system. So adopting as many of the things that he could in that culture. So that's Ford, that's GM. Okay, look at Toyota. This is total value. So if we look at this right now, this is saying that GM and Ford are worth maybe 50 billion, let's say each. Toyota right now, what is that? $190 billion compared to Ford and GM. Okay. So, again, do the straight line stuff, and again, I want to know what's happening here. I wish I could say this about an American company, all right? And there's lots of great American companies here. But there's something very, very, very different here. They had every reason not to be able to accomplish all these things that they did. Okay, so the other kind of financial nerd I am with this, commonly, Toyota has enough cash and cash equivalents, or CDs, the likes of that they carry every day. They could write a check for Ford, they could write another check for GM, and with Ford, Nissan took over Chrysler, another check for Chrysler, buy them, shut them down, and nothing would change in the organization. They're that cash rich. That's amazing. Okay, so you see what I'm saying? So, you know, the nerd in me says, gee, what is it that they're doing that's so different? Right? Okay? So a little history about them. So That's kind of what happens to a great big company when they do some of these things. We are just neophytes, even in our 15 years here. We really are just scratching the surface on what we think is capable with the Toyota production system. But what kind of happens in a small company if we try to do some of these things? So you'll notice I'm listing employee engagement as one of the top things on here. We see that as incredibly important. Matter of fact, that's one of the main obstacles as we talk to all these 400 companies, is the culture is usually much worse in a company than the top person thinks. And it's really, really interesting. You go down another level, that person says, it's not quite as good as Jane said it was. Another level, you get down to the shop floor, and we all have axe grinders, we have some things like that, but that is a huge kind of hidden obstacle behind any initiative that we try. Anything that we try, especially something crazy, like let's improve all our processes. Oh, great. I really want to do that if I'm really struggling, right? So it's a key thing. I'm not going to touch on all these things, but I'm going to tell you that this doesn't happen overnight. Most of these metrics happen in about an 8 to 12 year period in some regards. We stopped counting at 5,400 process improvements. The real number is probably 7,000 or something like that. It's just been crazy what our guys do now in improving processes. We talked about our productivity. Here's something that's a big deal with me, and I'm an engineer, and I have a business degree, I'm probably a salesman. And I said, you're in the sales desk, and one of the biggest obstacles we had to selling was our quoted delivery time. Time from order to time from ship, okay? Really was our biggest deal. So that's been part of the way we talked about metrics. That's been one of the metrics we use in some of our delivery times. As an example, it used to be 13 days about 7 years ago, or now 2 days. We're shipping almost, in that period of time, 80% more volume, same number of people. Think about that. Used to take 13 days more. Nuts. What I tell you is our people do every day. Every day, what I would have told you 5, 6, 7 years ago was impossible. That's impossible. That's really, really impossible. Okay? The other thing that these guys gave me a gift when we had this downturn, because with this downturn, we were strong enough that we, and some of you in the room have done the same thing. We've had no layoffs, we've had no pay cuts, we've paid no benefit cuts as well. And that's really a tremendous gift when you don't have to do these things. We feel blessed in that regard. So, we'll see. A couple of pictures. This kind of comes through dark, but what I'm trying to show you is also just a little bit besides just the metrics. But a picture of this same bay after we've done a lot of the improvements. We've invested in a lot of lighting, painted everything that wasn't nailed down, all kinds of problems, cultural problems. I'll tell you one quick story about the cultural problems here with this is we had such bad communication or trust in our organization that I can probably describe it by what I'll call the tale of two bills. The tale of two bills. So years ago, Bill was a machine operator for us and very inconsistent. One day he seemed to operate well, next day it wasn't very good. Attitude would be good one day, attitude bad the next day. Some days he would even just forget what you told him the day before. Bill left, we let him go, he quit, I'm not sure. Years later, we work on our culture, we're starting to build trust in our organization. One of the guys came up to one of our supervisors and said, "You remember Bill, the weird operator?" Well, we all knew this, but we didn't want to tell you that. Bill was one of an identical twin, Bill and Bob, and they were job sharing. Bill would come to work on Monday. I mean, we had real issues. We still have some issues, but I think that most of our identical twins we've identified now, and we've done something with it. So I mean, lots of problems. Same thing. This picture kind of comes out dark. I hope you can see this was a cave. And at some points, when you can still smoke in our plant, if you drop the cigarette in the wrong spot on the floor, it would catch on fire. At one point, when we started cleaning our floors, they called me out there once and said, bin bay is one of our bays. Said, "Brad, get out here. We have a wooden floor in the bin bay. We're starting to scrape the oil off of it." Surely not. By the time I'd gotten out there, they discovered that what we had done cared so little about safety and housekeeping like that. We had let a 4x8 sheet of plywood fall over in the aisleway, and we just left it there. And we tracked enough oil over it that it was hidden under all this oil and grease. And so when we started scraping it off, that's what we found. So, I mean, we'd be bad in the wrong way, right? We struggled a lot. Okay. So a little bit of a picture of where are we now. This is a representation, if you will. Our production offices, what we tried to do is take all of this revenue and take all this improvement, reinvest it back in pay, benefits, improving processes, certainly facilities. How can we be a really positive experience for anybody that touches our company? And especially those of us that are there 40 or 50 hours a week, right? So production office, plant break room, we built this maybe 10 years ago, and we at the time, we said, guys, we know we're not a world-class manufacturing company, but wouldn't it be fun to have a world-class break room? Wouldn't that be a fun place to start? So a number of our guys are on the committee, and we have foosball tables, we have pool tables, video games, showers, locker rooms. You can see, we kind of joke, they really kind of looked for a sports bar without the liquor license. That's kind of the look they were going for, right? And we love it. Training room, this is actually the Gallup Corporation. You've heard the Gallup Corporation with all the polling. They actually are incredible experts on employee engagement. We brought them in January to coach our leadership team and some other leadership teams. Okay? So, there, one last one. Our company conference room, one of our meetings. So, our struggles match the struggles that most of us in the Western world have had when we looked at Toyota, looked at these great numbers, said, okay, we want to be Toyota. So what did most of us do, or at least taught by those kids? Toyota gives tours all the time. So they'll let you walk in, look at your plant, we see all these tools on the shop floor, and say, that's it. Let's go back and force everybody in our company to do these tools. That's what we say, but that's kind of the way it is, right? And then what happened? It's just not. Yeah, maybe some improvement, but it really is pushed. When the Tundra plant opened just outside of San Antonio a number of years ago, we were fortunate to get in there in the first few weeks and get a behind-the-scenes tour. We asked, who else have you given tours to? The first tour, have any idea who they gave the first tour to at this big Toyota Tundra plant? Lord, General Motors executive. General Motors executive. Yeah. And it's like, why? Why did you do that? And actually, they wouldn't answer us in front of a little small group, but after the fact, one of our guys went up to him and said, okay, tell me why. And he said, maybe it's kind of cool. You guys still come in and you look at this, and then you go try to put that. That's not what we're about. And really, what it is, what I'm here to tell you, is the TPS is a management system over everything. It's a people system. It's a problem-solving system. That's really what it's about. What we see on the shop floor are countermeasures to their problems. The other way Toyota puts it is, geez, it really intrigues us. You come look at our countermeasures to our problems, and you force them onto your company, they might not even be, that may not even be the problem you should be working on. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, guys, I think, if we wanted a fast car, and we went to NASCAR, and we look at a NASCAR, I've never seen it before. I said, what do I see? Well, I see they've lowered it, the aerodynamics, they've got bigger tires, and then they put all this pretty paint all around it and all the likes of that. I go back to my Crown Victoria or whatever I have. Again, I do the same thing with that. Do I get the same results? I didn't close. But I've changed it the way I see it. But I don't see all the things behind the NASCAR that goes on that really makes it. The things you can't see. That's the fundamental misunderstanding we've had about Toyota. Is we really haven't. And how do you see a coaching system? How do you see a management system, right? It's very difficult to see. It's not like they've necessarily hidden it from us. It's just difficult to see. Okay? Good? So, anytime you have a question, seriously, it helps me actually if you do. So feel free to on this regard. You'll really want to say, this is what we tried to do. We kind of got that it's built on a culture issue, but it's really much more about this. These are the wastes. But that was the fundamental problem. Thousands and thousands and thousands of companies have been improved by implementing some lean. But we're puzzled in that practically none of us got anything close to these unbelievable improvements in Toyota, right? So you see a couple of things here. Jeffrey Liker and Mike Rother are two really noted experts here in the country, and they talk about industry week, that only 2% of the companies are getting what they anticipated. The Shingle prize-winning companies, even those were losing ground, right? So again, it's the why. We're all struggling with that. So about this time in our journey, a number of years ago, we were struggling too. Our guys were working really hard. We didn't feel like we were getting the results that we should for the input that we're getting, just the improvements that we're doing, the likes of this. And I didn't know what to do. So Delaware County, we spent some time, let me tell you a quick story. We spent some time in Delaware County. It was beautiful, lakes, woods, streams, and stuff. So one day, I'm in this little country restaurant that I frequent, and I noticed on the wall of this country restaurant, Delaware County, somebody has scribbled this, and it's family friendly. I can actually show it to you. You must be a change to see. Odd. That struck me. Later that day, I Googled it, and it's actually, here this thing at Delaware County, you must be the change to see, is actually a portion of a quotation that's attributed to a very, very famous person. Anybody have any ideas? Well, you're really close. Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhi, okay? It's like, holy cow, I was amazed. Gandhi. You see, I didn't realize Gandhi had ever been to Delaware County. Maybe he has, okay? So, but this struck me the right thing on a slow learner. It took me years of struggling with our lean implementation, with our TPS, to see, you know what, you must be the change you wish to see. You must be the change you wish to see. And in fact, really what was happening is I'm sitting in my office saying, okay, I want every one of you guys to change. Stick your neck out, try all this new stuff, make fools of yourselves, get results. I'm some bigwig, I've got the company to run, right? I'm above stuff. Well, why are they not changing? Because I'm not bothered to change. I'm not really living it every day. And that can be different from different people, the likes of that. And really, so many things, truly, a whole lot of what we try to do at our company runs deeper than our company. We try. You know, I thought of my relationships, my marriage, my 2 daughters, some of my best friends, lots of that. You must be the change you wish to see. It's also empowering. What do we have the most control over? Ourselves. Yeah, ourselves. And within ourselves, our attitude, and then within that, what we do, right? So can we do everything we can do to help the positive effect of that? And that's one of the things, one of my mentors, we've had 5 consultants that we've worked through this last 15 years. Second to last was Toyota Kata, Beth Carrington, W3 Group, you know Mike Rother. It's incredible. We really recommend that. And then also, we kind of fell into a deal where we met Lisa Nichols, and I would bet no one knows Lisa Nichols. Lisa was responsible for teaching, get this, the Toyota production system to Toyota North America for 10 years. She ran that department that taught TPS. And so she's left there, and she's got her own consulting group. And so she's been one of my mentors now for 4 years or 5 years. And it's actually our plant. We're pretty proud of our plant, right? It physically makes her sick. It really does. The first couple of times, she just got red-faced. I said, Lisa, are you hot? You don't know. It was just the way we were running the place. They take it so personally. And she basically looked at me and said, why are you tolerating this? The shop floor represents management. Why are you tolerating what's going on here? Isn't that crazy? So it's really a deep belief that starts from the top and works its way down. So that, so I decided, okay, you're right. But now what do? So here's another quote. You cannot solve a problem. You cannot solve a problem. The same thing we use, thinking we use when we create it. Anybody have any ideas on that one? No, not everything spits out right now. Okay. And really, this kind of puts the blame on us too, and I really accept that. The problem we're trying to solve right now is what we do all this improvement but aren't able to hear. Okay? That's the problem. Yeah, it could have been here, but that's the problem. We have to change our thinking to be able to get sales. And who is most impactful on that? Okay, so a little bit of a couple of things here, how we see lean or the program, the likes of this, is like I said, Toyota Production System, what we call lean manufacturing, is a management system used to manage everything within Toyota. And think about it, if we really thought you could get these kind of results by just shop floor tools, nothing else in engineering, nothing else in sales, that's silly. That's impossible. Very important on the shop floor. I love the shop floor. I'm a nerd on the shop floor, but that's not it. So, ask you a question. To be effective in changing the management system in your company, where should that begin? Yeah. The corner office. The top person that's the keeper of the flame of the business, the person that's really making the changes in the business, right? And so that's part of why we don't get 450 tools. Our filter now is the head bottle washer, as I call myself, is the head bottle washer at that plant. Are they driving it? We like to talk to them first on the phone. We like to see. Doesn't matter to me what you know. Are you really believing that there's something to be done and you have a part in it? The last year, that cut that tour rate down by about 90%. Okay. So, if you go on your handout, let's see, turn to the handout that starts with "You must be the change." You must be the change you wish to see. Okay. The fourth one down starts with "If an organization is truly changing, senior level management must change first." For better or worse, we have a tremendous amount of influence on it, right? More importantly, don't believe what I say. Look at the top paragraph there. This is Gary Condis, who's the president of Toyota Motor Manufacturing Company. The most common roadblock to successful implementation of TPS is the failure of senior level leaders to understand TPS. Too often, Brad would lack the total commitment that is essential and are unwilling to be involved in the day-to-day implementation and application. Okay, so here's my excuse. My gosh, I am busy. I've got big stuff to do. Okay, I've got all kind of things to fix. Or I'm trying to keep from laying off. Okay, it's urgent versus important. Urgent versus important. I do have some urgent things, but those of us that are in management positions are the small number of people that actually can create change. And are we working on the important things? Whatever that may be in your organization, are we working on the important things, right? Okay. So, give you another quick story. So, I had my Gandhi incident, as my wife calls it now, in Delaware County, right? You must change. I'm still trying to struggle. What do I need to change into, right? We had the good fortune of having another Toyota top manager in our plant. This was a big deal to us. It was really not truthful advertising. We cleaned our place up like nobody's business, but it was a big deal to us. He came in, he toured our office or plant. We asked him to just talk to all the people that he could. He did, spent a lot of time, came back to my office, sat down. He had not said a thing to me during the entire tour. I thought that was really interesting. I mean, he didn't care. He wanted to know the folks in our office, folks in our shop. Hey, what'd you see? What'd you see? And I mean, selfishly, I'm thinking, we're kind of a big fish in a small pond. Tell me how good we are, right? Embarrassing, but and he said, Brad, I see that you're trying to help this place be a better place to work for your children. I think that's awesome. And he said it a little more tactfully for this, but it was probably an emotional incident for me. He basically said, your lean effort is failing. And it's going to continue to fail. And it has to do with the primary focus of your company. And then he asked me a question. There's the first question I asked you guys. What's the primary focus of your company? And I don't know what you wrote down, but I put things down like, well, it depends. Servicing our customer quality product, return on investment, some of those kind of things. You know what he said? And this is Toyota Kata speak, if you get this. I didn't realize at the time. He said, no, those are outcome measures. Those are outcome measures. What are you focusing on to get that done? And he said, if you can focus on human resource development. Toyota's pretty humble about it. He really said, on a good day, this is our focus, human resource development. He said, anybody can buy the machinery and the automation that we buy. Okay? Anybody can buy it. If we buy it, cutting it, okay, we've got a 6-month advantage, maybe an 8-month advantage. What they can't do is develop this incredible workforce of problem-solving people that are solving the right problems, given a direction, giving vision, and doing it every day. So that's what our manager's job is to develop the people. David Chow, Link Sensei, another mentor of ours, says Toyota says they don't first build great cars, they first build great people to build great cars. Is that cool? Would you want to work for a company like that, right? Okay. So Toyota generates over 1 million process improvements, and the kicker that's really important to me there is 90% of those ideas are implemented. Here's a real quick aside. You know how many of those are good ideas? About half. And the manager knows, the supervisor knows, this idea is not going to work. But if it's not a big dollar, it's not going to take much time, it's better for that person to try that idea and then learn. Use it as a coaching. Isn't that a totally different perspective on things, right? Okay. Good. So, lean defined. Again, this is just what we're working with. But top-down, systematic management, coaching, and improvement. Focuses on building problem-solving skills while improving important processes. Good. Now, I want to touch on 2 things here quickly that's a bit different from lean, and I've already mentioned this, so I'm going to do quickly, then I've got a couple of 3 slides to wrap up on. All these companies that came through, that's really amazing. It really spoke to us. We had a serious culture problem as well, right? We addressed our culture problem in some ways we should have, but I've already touched on this. Much worse, the higher up in management goes, much worse, okay? It hurts our performance. Any way you want to measure it, it hurts our performance more than anything else in the company. Okay? It can be fixed. And here's the thing that I had to own, and I didn't like this. I mean, they had to come in here, almost literally put their hands around my neck and say, Brad, this place has a terrible culture. And my first response literally was something like, what do you mean it's a pretty good culture here in my office? I mean, literally, that's kind of the way I thought about it, right? So, but I was creating or tolerating this bad culture, right? And I had to recognize that first. So we addressed it through this. I talked to you about Gallup Corporation came in. A big study here. It's part of the handout. We've listed this book as a resource. If you want to look at culture, we think First Break All the Rules is an incredible way to do that. We do that. We've been studying that since 2003. Every 6 months, every employee in our plant does a reverse evaluation on their manager using what they use here. It's been one of the most amazing things that we ever say. They say quickly that we come to work for a company. If we choose to leave that company, we're probably leaving our boss as much as we're leaving anything else in that company. It's that relationship between your boss and yourself. It's so important. Okay? So, lessons learned. Notice the 3 top bullets here about us, about management, the effect that we can have on this, or should have on this. Don't go to your wallet with your first answer as our version of what Toyota does. Toyota automates as a last resort. Don't go to your wallet. Don't go to your wallet. Don't go to your wallet. Okay? Explain, explain, explain. Why do we have to change? What's important about what we're doing here to you? Third bullet down, another thing's the key for us. Always hire the right people. Do everything you can to hire the right people. Quickly terminate the wrong people. I'll give you a quick number on this. Earlier this spring, we had 1 opening in our plant. We received over 300 applications. We interviewed over 30 people, didn't hire one. We didn't find somebody that we thought we could do justice for and would fit into our system. In the old days, we used the fog the mirror method. You guys know the fog the mirror method, right? If they can fog the mirror, it's like, welcome to culture. But that's really doing none of us any harm. The other part to that is quickly terminate the wrong people. Don't let those bad apples just contaminate all the good stuff they're doing. And they are. They really, really are. That's very, very important. Okay, so, executive summary. Here's my last slide, I think, here, and then we'll talk about questions. What do we have? So this is really a different way to say what I've been trying to say here. By chance, has anybody ever heard of Deming's 85-15 rule? Deming's 85-15, okay, yes. Years ago in our study, we came across this Deming's 85-15 rule. Real quickly, the second bullet, what he said, Deming was the guy who was sent over to Japan to rebuild Japan. And he did an incredible job. We kind of thought he was nuts. Send him out, get him out of our hair, send him to Japan. And Toyota really learned so much from them that that's a huge part of the Toyota production system is what Deming did. Quality circles and things like that. One of his 85-15 rule is that a worker's effectiveness is determined by the system they work in. 85% of the time, only 15% is by their own individual skill. Years ago, when I read that, I thought, this guy's nuts. And I thought about Tim, one of our great guys, and maybe a Bill, one of our not so great guys. He said, holy cow, there's this huge difference for these two. Now what's happened is our guys have improved, as they've improved their productivity. If this was the difference between Bill and Tim, as they've improved the productivity, do you see what's happening here? No, it's the system that we're in. That's what Toyota has. Toyota has this incredible system. They can plug our people in. Put it another way real quickly, give you a number. All the headway our guys have done. Toyota is so productive. If you could somehow put 50 Toyota people infused bending knowledge into them, you know how much more product they'd get out than we're getting out today? Any guess at all? 400% more. Seriously, give them time to look at this and I said, 400% more. There's no way I can be as effective in our company as I could be in their company. It's the system that they create. So who's responsible for this system? It's us as leadership, right? So I'm saying when it comes to lean initiative, the most effective process to create a high-performing company has our most effective personnel. Those of us that kind of have the most yang, right? Those that really can create change. Leading the change effort on the most important process, our production and services. It's our job to create systems that determine our employees' effectiveness. Okay? So turn to your quiz real quick, if you will. So, what we think, and we've been told, the first question, which that's not right, we think it's the priority focus of the company according to Toyota should be HRD, human resource development, building people. That's why serving others, building people, pursuing excellence. That's why that's on our mind, right? Finish the following sentence. It looks pulled up. I didn't touch this exactly, but it's in your handout if you want. It's my responsibility as a leader to study harder, just kind of listen to it if you will, and develop the thinking at each level of the organization below me. Develop the thinking. The mentality of all should be problem solving every day, every life. That's Tracy Richardson's blog that I have in there. She's an 21-year veteran. Okay? What are the two most common roadblocks to successful implementation? Talked about Gary Thomas said it's the fact that we at the top really don't get it. They really don't get involved. The other thing that we believe, we're all according to Brad and Tulsa too many, bad culture. The culture in the organization has to be addressed. Okay, so your favorite professional sports team is having a bad season. It's not a season. Soon you have the power to replace one person. Who do you replace?
Non-believer.
Non-believer. I like that. Another thought. Who do you replace? Huh? Coach. Like that. How about enough? Anybody do that? Like that? Yeah, exactly. Okay, so here's, and that's a good one, okay? So here's what Toyota has taught us and this kind of stuff. You replace the top bottom washer. The person that's the keeper of the flame that's making the decisions. In this case, it could be the owner. I'm not telling you can do that. You know, if you think about Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones is a very active owner, right? He's the top decision maker. We all know that. In another professional sports team, it may be the club manager. It may be the coach. But the highest level person in management is responsible, we believe, for creating the system that we all are in, or that we help. So that's, almost nobody fell asleep. That's what I have. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, I think we probably have time for a couple. Any thoughts? Yes, sir.
I'm just curious, are you a Dave Ramsey person?
You know, I like Dave. I've never taken the Dave Ramsey program. We've taught that at our company before. Love it. We like to live it, if you will. You know?
I just read a book, EntreLeadership, which incorporates a whole lot of what you
It does. That's right. He's a good man, and that's a great thing. Anybody else? Thoughts? Okay, if you want a copy of the PowerPoint, leave me a business card. Yes, sir.
I was just gonna ask, has Toyota ever done any internal studies, see how the U.S.
Yeah. So, question, have they ever done any internal studies, see how the U.S. plants stack up against the Japanese plants? Yes, they have. They're almost exactly the same. There's tremendous competition between the plants and the likes of that. Their very first plant in the United States was the Numi plant, which was a joint venture with General Motors. In 18 months, they turned that from the worst General Motors plant, worst of 57, to the best General Motors plant, and it was just a few fractions below the Toyota City plant in 18 months. And literally, it's a system, right? It's not about the personnel. Yeah, it really is.
I had a question.
Yeah.
If you were to go back in time, know what you know now, what would you do differently?
So,
Fire himself.
hey, seriously, in some regard, I wish I could have seen it earlier, Kevin, exactly. I really, really wish somebody had kind of convinced me that I can't farm this out. You know, you can have lean champions, you can do, you know, obviously we use resources, but if, see that it's not just a set of tools, that it really, really is. I wish I had really done my homework to say, you know what, you can't get this kind of result with a set of tools in the shop floors, important shop floors, and then do the forensics back to say, you know what, it really starts right. It really does. Yeah.
Good question. How long did you personally run the business before you started this project? I mean, like you, I'm talking, not even thinking about it, but just, you know, you were the president, of the business, having fun, and then when did you start this?
Yeah. So, GMMA, I've been running the company in one capacity and another since 1988. And so I started about 15 years ago, so 88 to 2001. Completely clueless, doing the best we could. OK production system. Guys, that was awesome. Thanks for your support. I really appreciate it. Anything we can do to help, let me know. Okay.
Thank you. That was a really great presentation. Brought to my attention a lot of things I'm doing wrong. So, but on behalf of Greater Muskogee Manufacturing Alliance, got a little gift. Got some Muskogee-made products in there. Appreciate you coming. Thank you. Okay. If this is there any old business? Any new business? Any of our manufacturers have any announcements? Exciting news? Okay, our next meeting will be held October 13th at the River Center. It's going to be a legislative listening session with Senator James Langford. Anybody who signed up for the tour, I'm sure there's going to be some kind of safety announcement.
We need to raise our hands real quick so we can
Get a show of hands on the.
Yeah, we'll have an orientation for all the stuff.
Okay, so if you're on the tour, stick around for the orientation. So meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it.